Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astrologist. Welcome to Star Codes, the podcast where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers, the astrology and numerology. And in this case, it is the Gemini full moon with the sun in Sagittarius. And no, you don't need to be a Gemini to benefit from this forecast. This forecast is for all signs. Now, Mercury just stationed direct on November 29th, and I'm actually recording this on November 21st. But once Mercury stations direct, it will still be in Scorpio. And this is the Gemini full moon, which is Mercury's sign. And so it will really stimulate the direct motion. So the Gemini full moon happens at 13 degrees, which we're going to dive into much more deeply. 13 degrees Gemini for the moon, 13 degrees Sagittarius for the sun on December 4th at 11:14 p.m. Universal Time, London, 6:14 p.m. Eastern Time, New York, and that would be 3:14 p.m. Pacific Time, LA. So since Gemini is ruled by Mercury, these combinations of sign and planet govern motion and activity, communication, media, fast-moving energy, curiosity, facts and information, writing, speaking. So you're going to be looking at how you assimilate your thoughts, information, conversations, and you may just be stimulated a lot more with curiosity and movement, especially since Mercury just stationed direct again. Now with Gemini, the twins, you're invited to experience two sides of the coin without losing sense of the whole. So you're engaging in vibration and frequency by using both the masculine and feminine, the yin and yang states of being. And this will be the key because you're going to see below the surface and above the surface, right? You're going to be balanced in terms of seeing what is not true and what is true, for example, or what is maybe deceptive and what is actually honest. So those are key themes that may come up. Now we have 6 planets in mutable signs: the moon in Gemini, the sun, Venus, and Mars in Sagittarius, and Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And we also have a grand square or grand cross with the north and south node at 13 degrees and the sun and moon at 13 degrees. So they literally are creating a exact square in the heavens where the nodal axis, these are not planets, they're the nodes of the moon, but they govern our destiny, they govern the past and the future, they govern our relationships. And so this creates a huge, intensive opportunity to look at questions in your life that are asking you to make decisions, like which direction do you want to choose? This is like a crossroads. When a grand square shows up, it's like a big battery that's saying, okay, we are really ready for you to decide what to do, because you're claiming your present, you're releasing the past, you're saying goodbye to what is no longer working, and you're saying, well, what needs to be understood about that in order for me to move forward? And it's like this junction that you come to. And since this grand cross between sun and moon, so the sun is in Sagittarius, the moon in Gemini, and then we have the north node in Pisces and the south node in Virgo, these mutable signs are helping you to be very flexible, because mutable signs are about change. And this is a powerful time of destiny where fate can show up, right? So South Node in Virgo means you may need to look at some habits in your daily life, with colleagues you work with health. It really governs health and healing. It's the Virgo axis. Are you being meticulous about these matters and letting go of directions that you have possibly been taking that are to your detriment so that you can move forward. In the North Node in Pisces, where we have this Neptune-Saturn conjunction right now that's about to move into Aries early in 2026, Pisces is the final sign, and that's where the North Node is. It's very much about embracing visionary opportunities here. You know, Jupiter was the ancient ruler of Pisces, and Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. So Jupiter and Neptune, they're all about breaking through boundaries and just having a visionary perspective that goes way beyond the myopic, limited mind. So the North Node in Pisces is asking you to look at your life in this way. And then the Gemini full moon is saying, well, look at both sides of the coin. See behind the mask, you know, the mask meaning you are being asked to not go the way of ignorance, where you haven't seen the big vision. Remember, the sun is in Sagittarius for this grand square. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So we have both Pisces and Sagittarius. Pisces is where the North Node is, where we're heading, right? Sagittarius is where the sun is. And they're saying, look at the big vision. Let go of ignorance, of small-mindedness, of narrow-mindedness, of beliefs that have kept you in a box, right? You're breaking out of that box now. You're seeing behind the mask. On top of that, the number 13 is activated 4 times in this grand square. The moon at 13 degrees Gemini, sun at 13 degrees Sagittarius. They're opposite each other. And then we have the 2 nodes, North Node at 13 degrees in Pisces, South Node at 13 degrees Virgo. Now, 13 degrees is the divine feminine number, the number of transformation and change and empowerment. It is the number that was denigrated and in a way desecrated on by the church, because 13 does represent the awakening of the divine feminine. Venus has 13 phases. The moon has 13 phases during a year. And we have 13 weeks in a season, which is all about nature. And so anyway, this is a huge moment for the number 13 being activated in a way that is in immutable signs. So being flexible, being open, being creative, being imaginative. And then to add to this incredible supermoon, the sun at 13 degrees Sagittarius is conjunct what is called the Great Attractor. Now the Great Attractor is at 14 degrees in Sagittarius. It's moving slightly every year. We also have the galactic center that's coming up at 27 degrees Sagittarius, and we will talk about that for the Sagittarius new moon and 3i Atlas. There's a lot happening with that later in December. But the Great Attractor is a very mysterious area in space that has a massive gravitational force. And mysterious means nobody knows what it actually, how it can function. It has a lot of paradoxes, but it is seen as a force that can create attraction when a planet is conjunct. So between about 13, 14, 15 degrees Sagittarius, when a planet is there, in this case it's the sun, it can create a benevolent force, so a good force, a positive force, and enhance the planet's traits because it is an attractor. So it can magnify the sun, in this case, magnify the light. So we have this full moon, which is the moon lighting up, and then we have the sun opposite the full moon to create the full moon on this great attractor point, or conjunct the point. It's 1 degree from that point. It makes the supermoon even more super in a sense. And so then we also have 3 planets in Sagittarius. So it's not just the sun, but Venus is there at 5 degrees and Mars is there at 22 degrees. So the Sagittarian theme is very much enhanced. And Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, is in a grand trine with Neptune and Saturn in Pisces and with Mercury in Scorpio. So there's just so much good energy in this full moon. Now, the numerology code 12/4/2025 adds up to 16. So that also indicates a strong urge to listen, to be in a quiet environment, to listen to your intuition. 16-7 is all about these sudden events that can come up that will ask you to tune into your intuition in order to navigate whatever change is being asked for. And remember, change is the name of the game because of all the mutable signs, the mutable grand cross with the nodes. And so your spiritual nature is being awakened, your ability to stay in balance is being awakened. There's just a lot of really incredible energy. Now, Saturn plays a really big role, which is a good thing. Saturn is bringing this very mellifluous, changeable energy into a grounding space. So Saturn is square to Mars, which will concentrate your energy so you can pour your passion into something that is realistic. Saturn is sextile Uranus, which gives you a lot of spontaneity, but you can harness the creative brilliance. And Saturn is trying to Mercury as well, which Mercury rules this Gemini supermoon. So it gives you great powers of concentration, favors business dealings, and really helps you make progress. And Saturn is also trying to Jupiter because it's part of the grand trine and it's conjunct Neptune. So the trine to Jupiter is very important because the sun is in Jupiter's sign of Sagittarius. So it helps you to be fearless. It's a great time to take a risk, and that decision-making process that comes with that grand square with the nodes and the sun and moon, that is asking you to be fearless and to not feel any sense of restriction, to just move forward and embrace what is destined for you. So a lot of good energy. Jupiter also brings incredible energy to this beautiful supermoon. And so it is a time to really make some tremendous shifts that come from decisions that are just born out of your trust in the goodness of the universe. So there's so much going on as we prepare for 2026. And I would love for you to join me for my 12th annual Ultimately Forecast that is live on December 3rd on Wednesday. It's the day before the Gemini full moon. You can get all the details at 2026forecast.com. Briefly, I am revealing the secrets in the star codes, the celestial codes for the whole year, for humanity, for Earth, for your own sun, moon, and rising sign forecast in the astrology, for your own personal year forecast for 2026 in the numerology. And you get an incredibly detailed star code guide of every cosmic event of the year. That's one of the many bonuses. Plus, I'm going into geodetic mapping. I'm going into financial astrology, into prosperity portal days. There's so much we're going to cover. The live stream will be around 4 to 5 hours, and there will be an instant access replay if you can't make it live right after the live stream. Plus, there will be a Q&A if you can make the live stream where you can ask me questions. So register now at 2026forecast.com, and I wish you the most beautiful Gemini full moon, supermoon, and lots of love. I'll see you in our next video.